Oh my God, was it Crystal Girl? What are your names to begin with?
Mike,
David?
David, Mike, amazing. Could you define truth? What's your definition of truth?
being honest, giving your honest opinion on something and not lying.
You kind of took the words out of my mouth. Not lying and just telling what's in your heart.
How could one measure truth? Like, if you had to make a scale for measuring truth, how would you do it?
Just by measuring it by honesty, like seeing if it connects with that.
I guess I would count how many facts match up with the actuality.
The truth will set you free, but first it'll make you miserable. What are your thoughts on that quote?
True. That's actually a rap quote by Drake.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah, it's in a song with Rihanna, Lemon or something. Like, it's really old. He says that in the first line. Like,
Really?
Yeah. I think that's really honest because the truth sometimes isn't the best thing you're looking for. Like, it sometimes affects you negatively, but it will set you free. You feel better saying it.
I think truth can hurt, but after you'll feel better knowing that what you know is real instead of that you're living a lie.
Amazing. Is there a time in your life where you told the truth because you knew it was the right thing to do?
I can't think of anything, but I could connect with that. Yeah, like giving the truth hurts sometimes.
Yeah, I have a bad story. So one time I had to tell my girlfriend I cheated on her with like 4 different people.
That's tough, right?
Yeah, but
The best.
She-
thing to-
yeah, I kind of had to tell her because it wasn't nice to like lead her on and stuff. So
And no regrets telling her the truth, like it was the right thing.
I don't know. Yeah, it was the right thing to do.
All right. What's something you heard is true about Toronto that you agree with?
has like the worst traffic in all of Canada, most congested.
Hardest place to drive, and they call it Schoolface City because when you perform, people like give you the cold shoulder.
Really?
Well, not always, but sometimes.
People in Toronto just want to work and go home. No one wants to socialize. Not like other cities that are like more heartwarming.
So is this weird that I'm like, yo, you guys want to talk randomly?
Yeah, that's not.
Is it not? It's not common. It's fair. It's fair. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time. I really do. It's a tough crowd sometimes.
We're just asking some philosophical questions today.
Love it. Okay.
You want in? All right, come on by.
Love you cross.
Thank you. So first, let me just have you define what's the definition of truth in your own words.
Truth is there's also, I believe there's sort of a powerful truth within all of us that resonates within us, that only we know what our truth is for us,
Okay.
but we're all connected and I think we all share common truth.
What's the, like, define it though? Like, give me, like, how would you, if someone said, what is truth? Can you give me a definition?
Truth for me is walking in the light of truth, which is the light of love.
Okay.
Truth is love.
So truth is love.
Truth is love, is
And
peace.
Okay, we'll take it. How could one measure truth?
That's a tough one.
Let's say you're trying to buy something on Amazon,
Yeah.
right? And there's, I don't know, there's reviews all the time. How do you determine which reviews are maybe more truth than others?
Well, it's got to resonate within me.
Okay.
If I think it's a truth that it resonates in me, in my soul, in my heart.
So if you're reading something, let's say it's like a new blow dryer, right? And you're reading all these reviews,
Yeah.
right, as we all do.
Yeah.
I know when I read certain ones, I'm like, oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
I don't know why I maybe necessarily picked that. I assume it's something to do with the way the person's presenting it. I can hear sort of a righteousness, maybe an honesty in the way they present words.
But also in the product itself. Like you're going to say, I'm going to look into it, every aspect of what I'm buying. Is it got what I want?
Mm-hmm.
Is it good? Is it going to, does it have what I want? The
So
power?
is it fair to say to measure truth, we need more than one source? How do we navigate in the world of fake news these days, right? Everyone's, finding it hard to believe the media these days.
I think that really there's so much in the media, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it's like some people, you just kind of go, you listen to that, you listen to that, you listen to that. So you kind of go, well, it's for me. I said it has to kind of resonate within me.
Yeah.
For me, truth is my relationship to God,
Yes.
which is very powerful for me. And there's a
Yes.
truth in God's word, what God says about us, who we are, who He created us to be. Not what the world says we are, not what someone else says we are, but I think, what does God say about me? And I'm always learning. I stay open to learning spiritually. Like, I think God is
A moral and ethical compass, more or less. Is that
and
how you feel?
A beautiful source of.
How do you feel? How do you know when God is talking to you? Do you feel? Is it a gut? Is it just? Does it feel like for me? I tell people there's no such thing as coincidences. So anytime I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
coincidence, I'm
Someone-
like, oh, no,
Yeah,
that's
guess what?
God.
There's a great thing I heard. Sometimes stop and ask yourself in a moment when something happens to you in your life, is that providence or coincidence?
I'm with you. I call them me things, and the ME stands for monogamous entanglement, as
Yeah.
in I'm entangled with the monogamous world, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
only one universe, one God, one above all, right?
Yeah,
One
and I
creator,
think
no
that-
matter how you religiously come to them or spiritually, however, right?
Like, I mean, I find truth in, sounds maybe really crazy, but in the last year I've found a lot of spiritual music. Like, there's a whole wave of music by young people. Not, people think like, what, like gospel, like standing in church, serious
Right.
music. No, there's a whole wave of people giving out beautiful, beautiful music, which
Yeah.
is like just spiritual. It can hit you in your soul about love, about God, about spirit, about like
What's your belief system? Like, what school of thinking? Is it Christian, Jewish, Muslim, everything, spiritual, crystals?
spiritual in the fact that I used to go to Unity Church, but for me it's God. There's one God above
Right.
all. So I'm open to Judaism because it's the Torah, it's the first 5 books of the Bible.
Yep.
Then what comes after is also going to be profound.
So you're essentially what they call an
Kind of like-
omniism, which is like you take the truth from wherever you can get it, whether it's from this book, that book.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I read a lot of spiritual writers too, right? People are writing, and it's like, I say God will speak to me, and sometimes in a song, in a person, in a moment. In any moment, I feel when your spirit's open and your heart, I think God is always moving through us and saying, look, I'm going to show you, I'll show you.
I couldn't agree more.
I kind of believe God gives you a wink sometimes and says, hey, I'm showing you, you know?
So how do you, obviously me and you both believe in God, and we know how difficult it is to talk to atheists.
Yeah.
The second you say God, they run for the hills,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And unfortunately we don't all have like an hour to kind of break down what our belief is in God, and unfortunately I think a lot of people think it's just some guy, like they personify God, and I think that's always a big mistake, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the science we have coming out now in quantum physics and whatnot. So
And I just don't believe, for me, what my truth and what I find more and more, it's like I really realize, a lot of people are very, so I don't really think we're there to convert anybody, and
Right.
to teach them and talk to them about it. For me, it's about more walking the talk
exactly.
and not, I'm going to tell you this, you should this and this, and what God says. No, you be a light. Be the light that God's already shining in you, and you be that light to other people. Just do it in your walk, not in your talk all the time. You know?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hopefully the viewers, hear where we're coming from, and
It's just going to be voice, not my face or anything, right?
oh no, it's everything. We're on it.
Wait, so on there it's gonna see me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't worry. But me too. Hey, I'm with you. Don't worry. We'll fight. We're fighting together, right? Israel means to fight with God
Yeah.
and man, right?
Yeah.
So here we are struggling one way or another. If people like shit on us for our beliefs, so be it,
Yeah.
right? I'm just glad to be here with someone that can talk to me about whatever and not get personally offended or hold I don't know, what do you want to say, like be stubborn in their truth.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that we live in such a weird, superficial world in this world that we feel like you see people posting themselves on Facebook and they want to post
Yeah.
themselves and prove themselves, and it's like, for me, I learn more and more. I don't think I need to prove myself to anybody or get anybody's validation, love, validation, approval. Like,
Just be
just be who I am, and
in your truth.
yeah. And they say, I think the truth of our being is love. So
It's wonderful.
just walk in it, walk in it, be it, share it.
I'm with you. What is one stereotype you've heard about Toronto but don't agree with?
My view is like I love Toronto. Because I look at it like a really multicultural, amazing city with lots of great things, great people, lots of blessings, lots of good. There's a lot of negative. There's a lot of ugly. Of course, you can go down to like church and go to the most dreary areas. But I mean, for me, I think, I don't know, if people think Toronto's a bad city, I would never say it's
Well, more stereotypes, like even Torontonians will say stuff like, "Oh, the traffic here is miserable," or the subway line is,
Yeah, well, that's people
these
that
kind of
are-
the stereotypes.
That's like people who aren't grateful. So shut up about the
Okay.
Just shut up about the traffic, because there is traffic in every city.
I've been riding. I don't even have my license. I've been riding the TTC my whole life. I've
Yeah.
never once complained about it. But I've always lived along the line. I can only imagine if you had to take a bus or something like. I know the subway does a pretty good route to get to like the mainstream spots
Yeah.
downtown. But
If people want to complain,
if you want to go outside of downtown, yeah, our subway's a little lacking on that
if
regard.
people want to say, "Oh, Toronto's so busy," or the traffic and this and that, well, that's life. It's how you perceive. Look, I'm grateful. I don't care if there's traffic, and we've got a great TTC system. We've got lots of amazing places in Toronto to go. Where I think it's a great city.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. And what was your name again?
Heidi.
Heidi. I'm David.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Heidi.
Nice to meet you.
And that's love to think.
Love to think. God bless.
God bless. Okay, thank you very much. And what's your name?
Megan.
Megan. And you are?
Fiona.
How would you define truth?
I think it's personal. I think everyone's truth might be different,
Okay.
but being
Define yours then. What's your? If I'm asking you, so how would you define your truth?
evidence-based, prevalent, salient views. I'm a research analyst by training, so I tend to go with the evidence. And yeah, I think I respect other people's truths, like I was saying, because it's such a personal thing.
Fantastic that you're a research analyst. So this would be right up your alley. How does one measure truth?
Does it align with your intuition and your gut? I think that everyone's sort of steeped in their own beliefs. So there's also, we were talking about confirmation bias over lunch today, and I think that there's like a certain confirmation bias that also comes when people are seeking out their own truth. If your truth is being questioned, you're going to try to seek out something that supports that, right? So I think that it's such a personal thing.
Do you think there's just way too much division today?
Absolutely. And I think that there's a lot of vehicles that keep that division going, and a lot of polarizing beliefs out there, like just with the times that we're living in right now.
What do you think is the cause of this polarization?
Social media, extremism, having different platforms to speak our truth is a fantastic thing, but in a way we are constantly burdened with the need to decipher that truth and compare it against people who are speaking something that is contrary to that truth.
Tell us a story where one time you told the truth and you regretted it.
Say you are a woman and you are speaking about something that's happened to you. Say you're experiencing some kind of like assault, be it physical or verbal assault. Say you're in like a very male-dominated kind of space. When you speak about something that affected you in a particular way, and you're only met with either consequence or inaction, I think there have been times where I felt like I wish I didn't say anything because speaking out about something that happened to me didn't result in what I had hoped that it would, or that I was unheard or penalized for that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
What is one stereotype that is told about Toronto that you don't think is true?
Like that it's a concrete jungle, I guess. to be like very literal, because I think there's so much green space like nested within
The island. I love the
the
island.
island. Yeah, and I was gonna say that people, I think that I don't want to generalize too much, but I feel like there's this notion that you can't raise a family in the city, but you absolutely can. The city is a humongous community, and there are communities, I guess, nested within there. So I would say that, yeah, it certainly might seem like a concrete jungle and an alienating kind of place, but there's so much nested within the different fabrics that make up the city.
Thank you guys. Yeah, please do. Yeah, please subscribe and we'll do that. The first one's up. All right, so first names.
Danny Blue.
Diana.
I'm David. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. How would you define truth?
Truth? Truth is an element that you feel. I think that involves a sixth sense. And if you can something just doesn't feel right.
Okay, so something that sets a internal alarm bell off, essentially.
Just something happens and, like, you can't explain it, but you just feel it.
Okay. So how can one measure truth?
How can one measure truth? Well, again, I think it's...
Is it a matter of getting as many sources as possible?
Well,
or can you know the truth, just like you said, based on a gut feeling?
a lot of it has to do with instinct, because when it comes to other people, everybody has a different truth.
Mm-hmm.
So to say it's all about other people, it's really all about,
One truth versus another.
I don't think
That's
it can
right.
be. I don't think someone can say this is my truth. It's just it's true or it's not true. Personal opinion has no bearing.
Just duality is built right in, essentially.
In a sense, that has to do with, like I say, I think everybody has a different truth, and because everybody has different beliefs.
They say the truth will set you free, but first it'll make you miserable. Do you agree?
Well, if you had to change the second line just to misery, right, so it rhyme.
I've never heard the part about being miserable before. Did you just add that?
Is there? This is a quote we found. Yeah, but again, like you said, one person's truth is not necessarily another, right?
Right.
I'm with you on that. So how about? Is there a story where you told the truth but then regretted it?
I don't have any regrets.
Hey,
I
that's a great
always speak the truth, and like sometimes when I do speak the truth, not everybody believes me.
Nothing we can do, but you sleep well at night.
Well, sometimes I sleep.
Excellent. What is one stereotype you've heard of Toronto, but you don't consider true?
Stereotype about Toronto.
I've got
That isn't true.
that it's a world-class city, because it isn't.
Oh, okay. A lot of people, I gotta tell you, most people that come here just go off on Toronto, how great it is, diversity, this and that. So I would love your take. So first of all, when you say world class, are we comparing it to like Europe? Is that what you're?
Or even big cities in Asia, even. Everything closes early here. Nothing's 24 hours. It's
2 a.m. last call, while Spain, they start at 9 and go till morning.
All night long.
it's just a joke.
They don't have so many restrictions.
Yeah, not enough freedom in Toronto. It's too.
Do you think people think America's free? Do you think we're more free than America or as free?
No, we have no freedom of speech here, but they do. We're getting more and more censored.
Are you scared of what's going on now in Canada's media and government and all that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not scared of it. It's just like, okay, we have to readjust our set.
Just ride the wave.
And what are we gonna do?
Right.
What are your names?
I'm Deanna.
I'm Richard.
Nice to meet you. I'm Shiori. So, first question, what is your definition of truth?
Truth, I guess it would be the democratic truth. Like, it has to be peer reviewed. So I guess whatever the majority of people have rigorously defined, I suppose, as the truth. But that can get very dicey because, it's I don't know. That's a very tough question. What about
It's
you?
a very, I don't know. Like I'd probably better not answer this question.
That's an honest answer.
Like, I think truth is the way that like we see truth is
Yeah.
probably more of like a perception. Like, I don't think we can ever access the real truth per se, but then like, you know, the rest, like we just try and like come up with the best overall solution of like what the truth might be. Like, we're trying to like predict what it is, but we're not quite, I don't think we're ever going to really get there.
Right. Well, how would you measure truth if you were gonna, let's say, you're doing a science experiment? How would you want to measure truth in your world?
I mean, you can like try to I don't know. Can measure the amount of people I don't know who say that it's truth, and then the I don't know some kind of like try to go from there. I don't know, but like it's just like it's a tough question because like this definition about the majority of people and like the democratic majority, what the democratic majority say,
Right.
it's kind of what if the majority, for example, like
Believe something that's like totally
Yeah,
off of what is
exactly.
actually true. I mean,
yeah.
like,
or
I
unethical,
guess,
for example.
or unethical. That's
Yeah.
also true. I mean,
And
like,
it had happened before in history, so it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. I guess like you could, I think like, you know, it's probably a democratic truth, but you would have to weigh each person's vote based on like how long they've like studied a certain thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I would
like
agree
it's
with
like,
this, yeah.
you know, I don't think like if it's like something about coronavirus, for example, I would trust a virologist who has like worked on viruses for like 60 years more than just like a random person on the street, right?
Yeah,
So I think their vote would count more.
Was there a time when you yourself have had to tell the truth, but you kind of regretted it?
Yes, definitely.
Story time.
One of my closest friends, she was dating this guy that I thought was like really bad news. And I did like the terrible, like, you know, the thing that you should never do, which is like tell your friend, like, I really don't think you should date this person. When what you're supposed to say is like, everything is your choice and I will support you one way or the other. But this guy was like I was like, no, like you got to get rid of this dude. And she didn't talk to me for like 2 months.
Wow.
And I kind of regretted it, but eventually like she did break up with him like in the end. But I don't really know if I had any say in that. So
Right. Anything you, any experience from you?
Damn, I don't know. Just I mean, like it happens like all the time. I guess like it just like people are not like some like truth is like not always. It's like always like usually it's hard. So it's like yeah, I think yeah, it just like happens from time to time. I guess to everyone.
No, I mean, yeah, we want to say something, but sometimes we should just keep our mouth shut. But
I think
hey,
it's harder. It's easier to tell the truth to other people, I think, than it is to yourself. I think we
you
lie.
think so?
I think we lie to ourselves like a lot.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah,
because
yeah, I
like
agree with this.
I feel like there's a lot of parts of me that I don't like, and so then I lie to myself that like I am not like that. But like then you know that's why like feel like I'm always trying to hold myself accountable. So.
well, hey, I mean, that's all we can do sometimes. Honestly, I feel you. Is there a stereotype or something people say about Toronto that you don't, you know, they say it's true, but it's not, like you don't agree with yourself?
I think they say that, I mean, I think Toronto is like very accepting for sure, but I think sometimes people conflate that with like, okay, like we're good and we don't need to make any more progress anymore. And I think that like I think we're like as a city, like we're constantly changing in terms of like demographics and like class structure and like things like that. And I think people really need to like examine closely, like I don't know, like just kind of constantly be like we're always in change. And so we're never really going to get to a spot where we're like, okay, we're good, like this is enough, we're comfortable now. I think it should always be like, oh, like something's changed again in this like past year, like how can we make this space like great for everyone to live in, you know, because like what was good for everyone before has probably changed now. So
Yeah, I think we don't say that much when
that's a lot
Yeah.
less deep than what I was
Well, let me ask then, if there's something you personally, if you were mayor tomorrow or today, what would you want to change about Toronto?
Affordable housing, 100%. That would be the first thing, is like creating affordable housing units, Oh, like, I don't know. I think, like, besides that, I think, like, trying to, like, get more green space into the city. I think it's, like, really lacking especially, like, I don't know, like, even in the downtown core, but, like, also, like, elsewhere. Like, I don't know. What about you?
I mean, with the housing, it's like, I guess it's one of the major problems, and yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you both. I appreciate the time
Yeah.
spent. Maybe you'll send some thoughts out to others now you've talked about it. What is your name?
My name's Michelle.
Michelle, Shiori. Nice to meet you. So, first question, what is your definition of truth?
My definition of truth is showing up and just being yourself. Your true, your authentic self.
Is there a time that you told the truth to someone or something and you kind of regretted it?
Yeah, sure, there's been times I can't pick up on one specifically right now, but at the end of the day, I did, but it's done. It was meant to be said, so.
They say the truth will set you free, but first it'll make you miserable. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as with your last question, I mean, if I had said something that I may have regretted later, but as far as feeling frustrated or otherwise, no, I feel that for myself personally, the more I mature, the more I'm able to embrace my truth, and it doesn't matter how the other person takes it or not. It is what it is.
Right. No, that's perfect. I mean, yeah, you can't worry for others. You only have yourself to worry about at the end of the day, right? So, what's like a stereotype about Toronto that you hear that you don't agree with?
Well, for example, since this whole COVID business, the cyclists riding on the sidewalk.
That's like very annoying, I'm guessing, because you're just trying to manage business.
So now it's COVID cycle sidewalk time.
I see.
And another one, Corey, I'll use yours, is people talk too loud.
Ooh.
No awareness.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, well, sir, like indoor voices, perhaps.
They're trying to sell us on something.
Maybe.
Their conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's annoying because you can't hear the other side, and they're just like, well, what are they really talking about, right? So.
I don't care about the other side. I just want them just to be aware, just to lower down your voice.
Fair. Mind your business, mind the peace.
Yeah, we don't need to have an advertisement.
That's fair. Is there something about Toronto that you'd want to change? Like, let's say you're mayor today.
Well, if I may say, just create some more consistencies. There's too many inconsistencies with what's going on today.
Right.
Yeah.
Like with the rules or what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, like seating and whatnot and, all that stuff.
Right. You just want to know today's today. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
You don't want to know tomorrow's a completely different game. No, I feel you. I think that's actually part of the frustration.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's not that we don't want to follow some rules that are, necessary, but we just want to know.
Be clear with the rules.
This is what it is. We're not going to change it tomorrow, right? So,
Yeah.
No, that's fair. What's your name to begin with?
Nazima.
Nazima. That's beautiful. What's the background of that?
I'm half Russian and half Uzbekistani. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Great mix. I would have never guessed that, but I'm sure you get that all the time. So my first question, what's your definition of truth?
Feels like the word says it itself about it. It's just like honesty, in my opinion.
Was there a time where you had to tell the truth, but you kind of regretted it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is there a life example?
Yeah. It's just, I'm a very open person, and I'm open about everything, but I've had situations a lot that I tell something very personal. And it's the truth, it's honesty, but then I get criticized for that, and it's just not good.
Is there a stereotype about Toronto that you hear that you don't agree with though?
Honestly, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of people, let's say fake people, that they're not very truthful with you, they're not honest with you. They won't be okay if you're if you did something bad, they're not gonna come up to you or be like, yeah, oh listen, you did something really bad, and that's not
I feel like you have a story. So I'm like, what's your story, girl? Tell me. Tell me.
I'm a very straightforward person, and I like.
Do you find that gets you mixed reviews? Do you sometimes get confrontation, or just people just don't even want to listen to you, or?
I get that sometimes, yeah, and it's really hard when I'm not trying to criticize people, take it as I'm like criticizing them. But no, I'm just being honest. I'm just being like, I'm trying to be the opposite. I'm trying to help them and just be honest, and not like for them to listen to fake people and just to tell them some false like information.
I feel you. Well, thank you, dear. I appreciate it.
So first thing, what's your name, sir?
My name is Paul Nazareth.
Paul, I'm David. Nice to meet you. You're looking fly. All right, so first question. How would you define truth?
Truth is the purity of your own personal purpose.
Tell me a time you told the truth and then absolutely regretted it.
Well, part of what I do is teach people the law.
Okay.
And so many times people don't want to obey the law, and I have to tell them what it is and that they are willfully breaking it.
So you know truth very well.
Kind of, yeah.
What is something you predicted and it came true?
Ooh. Tap cash payments. It sounds crazy, but I've been nuts about it for like 10 plus years.
What is that? Explain.
Well, I help charities. Fundraise, and many organizations, and all they do is ask for cash. And I've been telling them, look, everybody's got tap. If you want to collect more money, do more good, this is one technology you got to be up on. But many organizations, because they're very grassroots, don't invest in technology and can't raise the money to do the good they want to do.
Do you trust most charities or quite the opposite?
Because I know the law and how to look up all their financial statements, it's real easy to tell who to trust. You can look them up on your phone.
What is one stereotype about Toronto that you've heard that you don't agree with?
Oh, I travel the country, and the classic Toronto and Ontario is that everybody thinks they run everything. And I don't think so. I think this is a city that's open to things more than most people are open to things, right? Acceptance, inclusiveness, belonging. This is a city where everybody, if they want to find a place, can find a place and belong. And that's what I love about it.
What would be your tagline for Toronto?
Everything's here.
I like it. Is there anything before we go that you would love to say to Toronto? Anyone you would love to give a shout out to?
Well, all those wonderful organizations doing so much good work, trying to help people.
Any specific that you would like to put on?
You know what? There's a great organization, Sistering, just down the street on Yonge Street, helping trans youth and people kind of escape violence and fit in and find belonging. Anybody who helps someone who feels alone find their place, shout out to all those people just hustling, trying to do that.
Man, much appreciated. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Good stuff. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Good luck in the project.
All right, what's your name?
Timothy.
Timothy, I'm David. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. How would you define truth? As in, truth is?
Fact.
That's actually it. Okay. Tell me a time that you told the truth but regretted it.
Well, probably back in university, telling a person the test is really hard and at your progress, it will be challenging. Good chance, don't have high expectations.
So you're basically either you're Paula Abdul or Simon Cowell, essentially. But you're more of the Paula Abdul, where it's more like lift someone up, maybe rather than giving them the harsh truth of hey, you ain't gonna make it.
I would say Paula Abdul. She's more just straightforward, but not adding any personal insults or any flair. Put it this way, like Simon Cowell. No.
What is one truth you've heard circulating about Toronto, but you believe not to be true?
High crime.
Really?
Well, a lot of them were just because they hear it every time, on the news, something that it's there's a shooting, a stabbing, or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah, in all reality, I think our crime is pretty low compared to most North American cities, right?
Per capita, and I don't mean just North America, even within Canada, other smaller communities, they might feel it's quiet, but actually when it comes to per capita, it might be on par, or Toronto might be lower than some of the other smaller cities. So it's because they hear more about Toronto. It's the center of attention, so they might see good, but also hear a lot of bad. But once again, back to once you see the fact, once you see the number, it's actually not as bad as how certain media or some other person's portrayal of it.
How much do you think we are impacted by, American media, American news?
A lot, in a way that they they would make themselves more distinctively like I'm Canadian.
Are we becoming American?
Oh, even less, I would say. I'm actually from the States,
Okay.
so I would say far less.
Where in the States you from?
Mostly raised in Erie, PA, so it's between Buffalo and Cleveland.
Okay. And how do you find the coming here?
Oh, it's a whole different culture. So when a lot of them say it's more Americanized, no, it's actually because of the American media and certain things. I think a lot of Canadians are becoming less towards it's more like steering away from what's perceived to be more American.
If you were the mayor of Toronto, what would be the slogan?
Let's make it better.
Let's make it better.
Yeah.
And on that, we'll end. That's a great note. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. What's your name?
I'm Charles.
Charles and
Zach.
Zach, and I'm David. Nice to meet you guys. Okay, first question. You guys can answer it separately or together. I don't mind. If you had to define truth, how do you define it in your definition?
I'd personally just say what happened, like exactly what happened. Like even if no one really knows it, the truth is what actually happened there.
Oh, I think, yeah, I kind of agree with that, and I think it's what goes down in history.
Okay. How does one go about measuring truth?
I don't really think there is a way to measure it. I mean, you might be able to measure how many lies or truths a person told, but I don't think you can really measure it. It's just how well you observe it, let's say.
Okay. Well, I think there's only two options here. One is 100% truthful, and the other one is 0% truthful. I don't think there's anything that's in the middle, because if anything is like slightly like altered, then it's not the truth.
What is one time you told the truth and absolutely regretted it?
Well, maybe a good scenario is like you did something like bad to a friend, and then you admitted the truth, and then you thought that, hey, maybe they'd be okay with it, but in reality, they're actually more upset.
I think that happens quite a bit, right?
It's more common.
Okay. What is one truth you've heard about Toronto from wherever that you don't agree with?
I think one truth is sometimes people say like the city, like you seem alone or empty. Like people can often, it's such a big city and it's almost easy to feel alone, but I don't think that's the truth. I think if you really make an effort, you can really find so much in the city. There's so much to discover.
People kind of think we have like our own kind of language here, like the way we talk.
Hey?
No, like like Toronto slang.
Yeah.
Like people think, yeah, like wagwan, shit like that.
Oh,
But,
like with the patois mixed with the...
Yeah, but like I feel like I think we've kind of boosted it in our like culture. I don't think it's not that much special to us.
Probably a lot to do with Drake, obviously, too, right? Becoming probably the biggest star.
And maybe it kind of started from us, but like a lot of people like already like say the same words that are Toronto slang.
What's the latest Toronto slang that's going around that you guys have heard? Give me like the latest Toronto slang word. I'm quite old in my age, so I don't know if I know any words.
I wouldn't know either.
I mean, there's not anything like too new. Like everything around is just like
there's Mandem, Trash Ute, Ting.
It's kind of
exactly. So is there anything new?
Old. It's just kind of stupid. I mean, it's kind of stupid saying these words like alone. But,
Do you find Toronto is just a city of trends?
No.
That's one stereotype.
I think that's what you would expect with any big city.
Maybe that's a stereotype, the fact that Toronto's all stereotypes.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that with anything, but I think any big city, I would assume, goes through major trends. And I think a lot of the trends Toronto goes through, all these trends happen everywhere else. I think that Toronto has some things that are really unique to Toronto. Like I said, like the CN Tower is a very unique building. I'd say our lakefront is very unique. And I think a lot of these things happen year after year. Like, let's say, trips to Canada's Wonderland, that happens year after year, the CNE. All these really unique things that I think happen year after year, so they can't just be trends.
It's a shame this year will be put on pause, eh?
Yeah, it is a shame, but it's
hopefully it doesn't go away forever, because I heard the CNE this puts them in deep trouble.
Oh yeah, CNE's going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Give me a Toronto slogan, a new Toronto slogan if you were mayor tomorrow.
What do you think? Maybe Toronto, a city of 1,000 different things. Maybe.
Toronto, a city of 1,000 faces. We'll steal from Game of Thrones on that one, eh? All right, guys. Thank you so much. This is Love to Think.